Detective Michael Raines had built a reputation for being precise. Every note, every photo, every file in his office was dated, labeled, and cross-checked twice. That precision made his death feel even stranger. He collapsed during a meeting right after confirming the closure of an old investigation. Paramedics declared him dead at 2:37 a.m. The official report said cardiac arrest, routine, tragic, and final. But 2 hours later, the precinct's night technician noticed Raines's computer, still in his office, turning on by itself. The login required a fingerprint, yet the system accepted his credentials. A single new file appeared on the desktop, titled Final Report. When they opened it, they found a short video clip. The screen showed Raines sitting at his own desk. His face looked drawn but calm. "If you're watching this," he said evenly, "I didn't have time to finish. They're going to seal it. The answers are under the logs. Keep looking." Then the clip froze. In the reflection of the monitor behind him, a faint shadow moved past the doorway. Detective Sara Holt, his former partner, was called in. She'd worked with Raines for 5 years, long enough to know he wasn't the type to play games. She replayed the video 3 times, scanning every corner of the frame. "When was this recorded?" she asked. The technician shook his head. "The timestamp matches the exact minute he died. The system says it was uploaded at 2:37 a.m. Sara turned to look at Raines's desk. Everything sat exactly as he'd left it. His half-empty coffee, the notebook open to a blank page, his badge lying next to the keyboard. She flipped through his notes and stopped at a single line written in neat, fast handwriting. "If this ends, check the maintenance logs." Sara looked up at the technician. She said, "Pull them all, every one he touched this month." As she walked out, the monitor on Raines's desk flickered again. A second file appeared below the first. Its title changed slowly on screen, letter by letter. Detective Sara Holt spent the rest of the night combing through Raines's maintenance logs. Hundreds of pages, mostly dull building checks and repair requests, filled his folder. At first glance, it looked like clerical overflow, not detective work. But something didn't fit. Each report carried his initials at the bottom, along with a short 4-digit code written faintly in pencil. It wasn't part of any standard form. She circled one, 4197, then another, 6241. None of the numbers matched city maintenance records. By morning, she'd cross-checked 6 of them. Every code matched a cold case file that Raines had once investigated, each closed without public explanation. One was a disappearance, another an officer-involved shooting. All of them tied to the same division that had quietly reassigned him 2 months before his death. Sara exhaled slowly. "He was mapping something through maintenance files," she said under her breath. "A trail only someone from inside could follow." Her phone buzzed. It was the forensics office. Raines's computer had powered on again at dawn. The technician swore no one had touched it. She drove back to the precinct, the sunrise washing pale light over the parking lot. Inside Raines's office, the air felt still. His monitor glowed softly, showing a new folder, labeled Logs 02. Sara hesitated before opening it. The folder contained one photo, a shot of the evidence room viewed from high above. The drawer labeled 47B was slightly open. She checked the time printed on the corner of the image. 06:12 a.m. Her wristwatch read exactly 06:12 a.m. "Who took this?" she muttered. The technician standing behind her whispered, "That angle isn't from any of our cameras." They hurried downstairs. The evidence room was quiet, sealed, untouched. The drawer marked 47B was closed tight. Sara brushed her fingers over the dust on its surface and felt faint grooves, letters traced into the layer of gray powder. It read, "Next." A second later, the overhead light flickered.
and for an instant, the drawer handle shifted as if someone had just let go.
Detective Sara Holt stood frozen, staring at the faint word in the dust. Next. The message was small, deliberate, written by a fingertip. The air in the evidence room felt too still, too heavy. She glanced at the technician beside her. "Get the surveillance pulled for this floor. I want every second from the last 2 hours." He nodded and left, leaving her alone with the drawer. Sara opened it carefully. Inside were case folders, all belonging to Raina's old investigations. Most had been stamped closed. The most recent file was labeled 47B, the same code from the photo. She flipped it open. The first page was a witness interview. The handwriting wasn't Raina's. It was hers. Her pulse spiked. She'd never worked that case. She turned the page. The signature field on the bottom was hers too. Full name, badge number, and date. Except the date was tomorrow. Sara ran a hand through her hair, trying to stay composed. "What were you doing, Raina?" The technician returned a minute later, pale. "Detective, there's no footage." "What do you mean, no footage?" "The camera over this room went offline for exactly 7 minutes. Same window when your watch said 6:12. Sara stared at the monitor feed still frozen on the wall. The timestamp blinked, 6:12 a.m., over and over. "Check if any other systems went down at that time," she said. He scrolled through the report logs. "Only one." "Which one?" "Your office." Sara didn't wait for him to finish. She took the stairs 2 at a time back to her desk. When she reached the doorway, the chair was turned toward the window. The blinds were half open. On her computer screen sat a new document. Report, Draft 47B. The cursor blinked at the top, waiting. She stepped closer. The first line had already been typed. Detective Sara Holt continues the investigation following Raina's final upload. She hadn't written a word. The cursor moved again, letters appearing one at a time. File updated. Operator confirmed. Sara whispered to herself, "Operator." Then below that, her own name appeared. Detective Sara Holt's breath caught as her name appeared on the screen. The text cursor blinked beside it, steady and patient, as if waiting for her to respond. She reached for the keyboard, but hesitated. The report was writing itself. More words appeared, calm and structured, like an official statement. Detective Holt has accepted transfer of active case 47B. Status: in progress. Subject: unknown. She hit the power button, but the computer didn't turn off. The screen dimmed, then brightened again. A line of text appeared in the center. "Welcome back, Detective." Sara stepped back. "Mills," she called, but the technician didn't answer. She ran to the hallway, empty. The building felt silent, as though everyone had already gone home. Back inside her office, a soft sound filled the air. The faint hum of a hard drive, spinning fast. On her desk, Rain's old notebook sat open. She didn't remember bringing it back upstairs. The pages fluttered slightly in the draft from the vent, stopping halfway. A list of case numbers filled the left page. On the right, only one line, written in neat handwriting. "If it updates, it's still active." Sara picked up the notebook. Beneath the line, an indent from a pen pressed deep into the paper formed 2 faint letters. S.H. Her initials. The hum from the computer grew louder, almost pulsing. She looked back. The monitor displayed Rain's video again, but now the image froze mid-frame. A faint outline of another person appeared behind him in the reflection. Her own silhouette. Sara whispered, "That wasn't there before." Then the audio crackled softly. Rain's voice, quiet and strained, came through. "They're keeping it alive, Sara. The system doesn't stop when we do." The clip ended. She stood completely still. The reflection on the blank monitor now showed only her office, but the chair behind her was turned the wrong way, facing the door. When she turned round, the chair was empty. A small light on the desktop flickered once, signaling a transfer. A new file appeared. Report Final Holt. Below it, a timestamp began counting down from 1 minute. Detective Sara Holt stared at the countdown ticking on her screen. 00:59, 00:58, 00:57. Every instinct told her to leave the room, but she couldn't move. The case folder, Rain's notebook, the humming computer, everything pointed to the same message. The report was never meant to end with him. She opened the notebook again. Between the pages, she found a flash drive wrapped in an evidence tag. The label read, Case 47B, Transfer Key. The timer hit 00:30. Sara hesitated only a second before plugging it into the computer. The screen flickered. The countdown stopped. Then the words appeared. Manual override detected. Report continuation confirmed. A new document opened by itself. It contained the same layout as Rain's final message, same font, same spacing, same signature field at the bottom. Only this time, the first line read, Detective Sara Holt completes the investigation of Detective Michael Rains. She scrolled down. Every paragraph described what had happened since the moment he died. Details no one could have written yet. The last entry ended with, Report concludes upon file upload. Subject integrated. Sara whispered, No, not me. She reached to pull the flash drive out, but the cursor froze. The screen brightened, showing her reflection faintly in the glass. Behind her, the blinds moved slightly, though the air was still. The progress bar filled, slow and steady. 70%, 80%, 90%. Complete. Then, for a moment, everything went dark. When the monitor came back on, the desktop was clean. Every file was gone. The flash drive was empty. Only one folder remained. Its name simple and new. Active Cases. Holt. Sara's badge rested on the desk beside the keyboard. The department seal had changed, her number replaced with Rain's. The overhead lights flickered once before steadying. In the quiet office, the computer fan slowed, then stopped completely. Outside, the morning shift arrived. An intern walked by, noticing Sara's door half open. He knocked gently. Detective Holt? No answer. On her computer screen, a new file appeared automatically. The title typed itself in, one letter at a time. Final Report. MP4.